Welcome back. Today, the talk is entitled Genius Principles. There are times when our faith encounters doubt, when answers elude us, and when even our questions are so vague that we have a trouble defining them. We all go through these times. During these periods, it is easy to stop thinking and to seek refuge in doctrine or rules. Some people do that. It is even easy to lose our faith entirely. Some people do that. This morning, we are going to talk a little bit about people who do the opposite. They embrace the doubt. They embrace the undefined, and they search for deeper answers to their doubts. The people we are going to talk about this morning are geniuses, and we may have more in common with them than you think. The four primary geniuses that we are going to talk about this morning are all accomplished and acknowledged as genius. What they also have in common is a desire to discover divinity in the universe. They have also attempted to construct a new theology. Now, none of them are here at the moment, but we're going to talk about them anyway. Kind of a typical Unity fellowship, isn't it? An early genius who attempted to divine the nature of the universe and explain it was Pythagoras. He sought to find God in the mathematical order that he felt underlaid all of nature. Ultimately, he came up short, but his contributions to mathematics and geometry, particularly triangles and the Pythagorean theorem, well, they've lasted thousands of years. That's a good way to fall short. A little later, Sir Isaac Newton postulated theories about physics, gravity. He invented calculus. And he also took up study of the Bible, particularly relating to prophecy. He was consumed by it. Newton attempted to find linkages in the words used throughout the Bible. He attempted to find patterns of biblical occurrences and develop timelines of events. He established the theory of biblical time, wherein he thought that one day in the Bible is equal to 1 year. And this theorem of biblical time is what the Millerites and the Seventh-day Adventists used to pinpoint the time of the second coming. They went through, if you accepted their assumptions, you would accept their conclusions. And they concluded that the second coming and the end of the world was in 1844. Well, that didn't quite work out, but it was a better idea than the experiment that Sir Isaac Newton performed on himself. He once stuck a blunt needle in between his eyeball and the eye socket in order to find out how that would affect his perception of light. Well, he learned enough that he never repeated that experiment. So now, Emanuel Swedenborg was another brilliant man by all accounts. He designed and he invented various mining equipment. He experimented with chemistry, and he designed a submarine. In addition, his research on the human brain led to discoveries of the function of the pituitary gland and led to the concept of neurons in the brain. He then tried to connect the physical with the spiritual. He thought there were two worlds that could be connected in that way. His opinion turned out to be that tremulous vibrations may be the link. And here we are, hundreds of years later, talking about good vibrations, bad vibrations, and how vibrations affect everything in the universe. Then he experienced what he believed were revelatory dreams in which Jesus showed him heaven and hell, demons and spirits, and imparted to him secrets of the spirit. Now, his dreams went awry when Swedenborg claimed that there were spirits in living people on Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and the moon. Nevertheless, a religious denomination formed around him. And when he wasn't dreaming, his theological analysis of metaphysical biblical concepts intrigued scholars. And these scholars included Ralph Waldo Emerson and that Methodist founder, John Wesley. The most impressive biblical analysis that Swedenborg did, in my opinion, centered around man having a divinity within. That sounds familiar. The last person that I would like to talk about is Christopher Langan. He's a contemporary genius. His IQ was once assessed at 215. For comparison, Einstein was thought to be 160 to 180. So Langan's IQ of 215 is simply stunning. Now, there was a problem with the test. So they think that his real IQ is only 195. And that drops him out of the top 5 into the top 10. Well, despite his high IQ, Langan dropped out of college, out of Montana State, and throughout his life has worked mainly as a ranch hand or as a bar bouncer. However, he has worked for many years on his pet project. His pet project is a theory of how the universe works, and he uses Stephen Hawking's work and theories as a starting point and then combines it with a lot of other science stuff. His theory is called the cognitive theoretic model of the universe. Now, Langan claims that through this theory, he can prove mathematically the existence of God, the existence of a soul, and the existence of an afterlife. We won't really know if this is true until Jody checks the methodology and Jane Maddox checks the math. So it might take a while. So it's brilliance and failures. There are many stories of brilliant people who undergo these periods of brilliance and failure. Edison is said to have invented the phonograph in an attempt to contact the dead. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes and the clever author, he believed in spiritualism and was once duped by a hoax purporting to have photographs of fairies. The point here is not just to make fun. The point is that despite their overreaches, their problems, and their errors, all of these brilliant people have contributed worthy ideas to the world. And they've all contributed ideas about the relation of the finite to the infinite. They all felt that there was a connection between humanity, all of us, and the creative force in the universe. Despite their different approaches and their mixed results, these brilliant people have reached a general acceptance of some ideas. These ideas may sound familiar to us. The people of genius that we have talked about generally conclude that God is the first cause of the universe, whose guidelines keep the universe together. In addition, most of these geniuses agree with Benjamin Franklin, a genius himself, who believed that for anything to make sense and to justify our existence, God must be friendly and would like us to be happy. In other words, the consensus is that God is the true presence and power in the universe and is good. Another idea that finds acceptance is that God's creation is connected not only in huge expanses, but also in submicroscopic realms. This is particularly interesting when exploring the concept of consciousness. Of all places, Popular Mechanics is reported on work which suggests that individual cells may each have its own consciousness. God's essence is everywhere. Therefore, our essence is of God, and we all have a divine spark within. Now, creativity and thinking outside of the box are a defining feature of these people. They pluck ideas right out of the ether. Mozart said that the music was all around him, and all he had to do was to write it down. Dreams which bring ideas are not unusual to these people. Some have described knowledge as a river that ebbs and flows. Swedenborg used a passage in Isaiah to describe it. And when you turn to the right, or when you turn to the left, your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." We might say that they create their experiences by what they think and therefore co-create with God. Yet it does not always come easy even for them. They must learn constantly and they must persevere. It is apparent that brilliant people often achieve flow in their work. They get lost in it. And all of them begin by shutting the door. Dr. Lane Schreiber often works on seemingly intractable problems by shutting off the lights, shutting the door, relaxing, and thinking about these impossible problems for up to 4 hours at a time. It is a manner of meditation to find truth. For us, we connect with God through prayer and meditation to align ourselves with truth. It is the same process. Finally, Goethe expresses the sentiment of the rest, saying, "To think is easy, to act is difficult. to act as one thinks is most difficult. Simply put, we do best by living the truth through our words, thoughts, and actions, although it is not always easy. In conclusion, it might be comforting to you that people of genius have doubts and struggles much like yours. It should be comforting to you that some of the greatest minds to ever live have come to some of the same conclusions about faith that your 5 unity principles express. What is affirming for you is that you have genius within you. The divine spark, the optimistic search for solutions, and the courage to be kind, they're all within you. You make a difference, and you can do it for the rest of your life, starting now. Amen and thank you.